Discord Survivor, like it or not, has a massive community, with it being rumoured that the token economy in orgs inspired the creation of Season 40's Fire tokens, and Survivor 44's Carolyn even was a prior Discord org contestant. Today I teamed up with the incredible org Constellation Discord server, and 5 Survivor orgs within it, to explore 5 of their twists Survivor has to use. So Jeff, if you're watching, take some notes. I would at you on Twitter, but you'd probably not read it anyway. Survivor, particularly in the last 11 seasons, has been willing to expand its variations of the now iconic hidden immunity idol. There's ones that are split, ones that are timed, ones that are coins, and ones that convince you you're a freaking potato. But the mods at Thermvivor have created a quite frankly genius variation that tackles the issues fans have for an idol. The Decaying idol functions initially like a regular idol by being able to block all votes cast against the person it's played on, but decays, thus becoming less and less useful at each tribal an individual attends. For instance, if it's played at the second tribal council, the first vote cast against an individual counts, but every vote after the initial one is blocked. Then at the third tribal, it would block all but the first 2 votes, and so on. Personally, I like to dub this the zombie idol, because throughout the entire game, to a certain extent, it's still alive, but rapidly disintegrates. I also just like zombies. So yeah. Overall, I think this adds an incredible depth to Survivor strategy, if ever added, which is surprising considering it's such an easy twist for production to implement. It adds a risk versus reward variant to the idol, testing a player on whether they want the guaranteed safety of an idol in the immediate future, or a weakened version at a more integral later part of the game, like the merge. I also really like it prevents somewhat mindless late game idol plays, where you play it on whoever, and that's it. No. Now with this variation of the idol, if it's been sitting in your pocket for 4 rounds, whoever you play it on can still receive up to 3 votes, meaning you have to put in the social work to ensure you can get 4 votes on someone else. That being said, I don't see this as an outright replacement to the idol, but I personally love to see it as an exclusive twist for idols in a certain season, or maybe as a one-time idol for a season's merge. Number 2 is the emphasis of Tether and Wither, an interesting twist from the PGJ Org community that I feel perfectly works in modern Survivor's final 10 round, because for some reason the producers are insistent on making it a tribe split. This twist starts out similar to how Survivor 43 did with their final 12 round, by getting contestants into pairs either through random means like drawing sticks or having them assemble into groups. Personally, I think this would work best at the final 10, and thus there will be 5 groups of 2. See Voce? I can do maths as well. With each individual in their new pair, it essentially combines them both, creating an extremely interesting dynamic for this specific round. Firstly, whoever wins the immunity challenge not only wins for themselves, but also for their teammate, so it may pay off to pick a competent challenge individual as your teammate. That's until you realise any advantages played by one pair member can also be played by their partner. So their idol essentially becomes a double idol, with one person they can make immune, but also one person their buddy can also make immune. This also relates to other advantages in a fun way, extending to 2 different extra votes being cast, with 1 single extra vote, and don't even get me started on 2 idols being nullified. Survivor seems to struggle, seemingly from their perspective, to make the final 10 round an interesting one, represented by the fact that in the past 8 current Survivor seasons, we've only had 3 actual full final 10 rounds. This twist smartly facilitates a best of both worlds, actually meaning we get to keep the final 9 rounds where we have the amazing 5-4 and 4-3-2 votes, while also making a round actually unique, in a way that we don't have to watch 5 minutes of a person opening a box. Thank you, Jeffrey. Now this twist would obviously have to be discussed to the players beforehand, so the levels of unfairness aren't similar to Australian Survivor, but as a twist it synergises with modern Survivor in my opinion, bolstering the fast-paced nature of the game and encourages teamwork with a likely or unlikely ally. Allies is the key to number 3, with the great folks at Sentinel Survivor seeming to have revolutionised Survivor's kidnapping dilemma. Now, kidnapping has featured in 2 forms of Survivor. The first is more common and less impactful to the game, allowing a tribe through an episodic twist or a certain reward to steal a contestant from their tribe, with the potential clause of making them exempt from a tribal council. The second variation came in China's warrior twist, and well, we know how that went. Instead, this version of kidnapping allows the losing tribes to kidnap individuals from the tribe with the most members. So in a season with 2 tribes of 4 and 1 tribe of 6, each 4-person tribe can pick 1 person from the 6-person tribe to be kidnapped onto their tribe. That individual then cannot communicate with their old tribe and also can't compete in the challenge for their kidnapped tribe. Essentially, it's a great way for always ensuring the tribe numbers are even while also combating the zero swap nature of modern Survivor. Survivor have shown they are adamant, for some reason, to not have swaps in the modern format, but still want cross-tribe relations. The producer's decision is to create these summits, but, in my opinion, they are outmatched in what they attempt to achieve compared to Sentinel Survivor's kidnapping twist. Firstly, kidnapping takes far less time than the summit, only quickly happening during the challenge, so we don't lose about 5 minutes of tribe content. It also means there's a cross-tribe twist, not facilitating an advantage, which is good, because, particularly in Season 41, you literally needed a spreadsheet to remember who had what. But it's also fair as the person kidnapped is immediately returned to their original tribe if they win immunity, but stay on the kidnapped tribe if they win immunity until the next day. This allows for further fun interaction between the new kid on the block and the kidnappers, where, who knows, maybe some gruesome tribe truths will come to light. On the topic of truths coming to light, ironically comes from the Golden Dawn server, with probably the most unique advantage we could ever see a contestant find on Survivor. This advantage would be like all the others, wrapped up and containing a parchment, allowing an individual until the final 5 to play the public tribal advantage. We've seen a lot of character from voting parchments, already from the biting voting confessionals accompanying them, to the unique touches added to the parchment, whether artistic, levers, bitter, or bye-bye Denver divas. Well, what if I told you, just like the flick of a switch, you could take that vote and get Jeff to reveal also who casted it. The public tribal advantage operates similar to an idol, where you have to wait until all the votes are cast, but play it before the votes are read. Then, and only then, at that single tribal council, all the votes are read as per usual, but Jeff says objectively who casted it. Personally, I think it would be a fantastic way to add drama into the show, while putting power into a contestant's hands when they choose to implement it. It'll reveal a lot of dark truths about who a person may have thrown a vote onto, plus I think a twist like this is the only real opportunity we'll get to see such a game-savvy cast actually get into an emotional argument with one another, which I know the community has been desperate for. Just imagine the fallout after the Survivor 43 merge tribal if a player played that advantage there. Now, there's criticism in the fact it can be unfair for players, especially considering it would be an unknown advantage to everyone else, but if they can implement idol stealers and immunity stealers as well as others in modern Survivor, they can at least try this out, since it has major upside. And finally, last but not least, we have Twistvivor, with a single twist that could literally be a season's theme. It's that impactful. We previously had the Abstain to gain advantage in the likes of Season 35 that I wish was utilised more, as it contained an intriguing risk versus reward dynamic. So imagine that, but anyone can use it, at any tribal council. This theme, much like the shot in the dark, allows every contestant to either write a person's name down on their parchment or take it, thus casting no vote. This extra vote then carries into the next tribal they attend, where they have to play it. Tribes of 6 through small voting options don't make for the most interesting of votes, usually with a majority picking between 2 people on the bottom. This means if you're in the majority, sure, you can give yourself a personal advantage in the future round, but if too many people in the majority get greedy, they can get overthrown by the minority. This really does switch up the game, incentivizing perhaps the most heavy blindside meta ever on the show. It is very similar to Survivor's current shot in the dark, where you sacrifice your vote for a chance at immunity. However, this is more skill based, not dependent on luck, and because it's an extra vote rather than individual immunity, it spans out, allowing more options. We've already seen on the show what small tribes with missing votes can do for entertainment. The Jenny boot from Survivor 42, anyone? On the topic of more options, if you want to check out all these orgs for yourself, seeing their variations of twists, check out their links in the description. A similar video should have popped up on your screen now discussing the 5 best twists in Survivor history, a video I know you will enjoy. Nonetheless, subscribe if you like this video. Have a great day.